of Kryta. But times have been hard for them of late. Between bandits, the recent centaur attacks, and what may be a poor harvest. I wonder if there'll even be any brew this season.
Pick up a rifle and get in
Vigilance is
formation.
key.
Remember, don't release your shot until the order is given.
Fire!
Pick up a training sword if you want to train. Wouldn't want anyone getting hurt.
Let's keep at it.
Come on, that's way too slow. Try attacking me as I lower you.
And keep that giant fish away. It's coming right for me. Thank the gods you came along. How do you do?
Another attack.
We must all do our part.
What's going on, Scruffy? 1 second. Gotta pop the chat box out. Welcome, welcome. That's pretty good. I have a new character that's about ready to hit the end of Dragons, and my old guild leader's coming back for that. But I'm changing the way that I'm going to play the game, I think. So I made a bunch of new characters. And I'm getting them ready, but I've made the decision that the next time I play through the storyline and stuff, I'm only going to use armors that I find in game. And my guild, I'm going to, because the last time I built my guild up and had it running, I paid for people's armor and their dyes and their ruins and helped them set up in-game builds. This time around, I want to make a playthrough using like gray armor or armor pieces that you find. No buying anything. And then make player groups that are able to do all of the in-game content without having any specific builds. I think it'd be really good for the game. Just to have one guild that does it, you know? Like if you want to do like the highest in-game content there is, you don't need any set armors, you don't need any set builds. You can use randomized pieces, and it would make the game like a lot more difficult, you know? Because I go through the game with exotic gear, you know, the storyline isn't too bad. But like my warriors can just like set through it. Even if they didn't have the best gear in the world, like the build that I have on them is so like good tank-wise, just with the skills. But you see like huge open world meta events. Imagine you had like a full guild of just like, because open world metas are so like quick because everyone has like the best top of the line builds and they're just attacking it and it dies really quick. Yeah. See, in the past, the last time we built this guild up, it's the Republic of Rome. I spent, I don't even know how long, making a political system, making an in-game economy inside of the guild itself, arena fights, betting, the ranks and things are separated into civilian and military rankings, and everything was based off historical Rome. And what we did last time was we were trying to do armies of warriors, and we were finding ways to bring level 1 players into level 80 zones and get experience playing with us. So it made it like the game was a lot more challenging because the level 1 players, they need to be defended, and then the level 80 players would have to try and keep them safe, and it made the event so much more interesting and challenging. And then the next step would just be to have randomized armor. So it's basically going to be like the 0 to hero runs, but I could change the system to where instead of just getting promoted because you did some, like, so the way the promotion thing worked last time was let me go back over here and look at it. So everyone that came into the guild was an auxiliary, and there was basically no rules. So you could play whatever race or anything that you wanted. And then once you got to a point where you would promote, you either go legionary or citizen. So citizens didn't have any rules for the most part. Legionaries had to be like human, and they had like uniforms and stuff, and they're part of the military function. The military ranks, you would fight to get promotions, And then the citizen ranks, you would vote to get promotions. And then the leader of the guild is the emperor, and like anyone could try and take it. But any conflicts and stuff you had would go to the arena. You'd bet on the arena fights. The arena fight gold would go to the Senate, and then they would distribute the gold to the military ranks and stuff like that. But if I redid the system, I could make it to where if we did, everybody had to play with whatever armors they found in game. You couldn't buy it or anything like that. Then you could make like the armor that people acquire while they're playing in the guild part of the ranking system, maybe. It'd be rather difficult to enforce, but that's the only issue I can think of off the top of my head. Because, like, if you have a group of 10 players and y'all all have gray gear, over time you would upgrade. But if it's only things that you find, like, players could trade or buy it off the market and try to slip it past you. So the only way to micromanage people's gear would be for them to, like, have to tell you what they had, you know, which is kind of hard. You only have like 2 armor sets. On the base game. But I like the idea as well because it means that if you get a guild that actually would do that, none of them would have any reason to really spend, like, they could still have alternate characters or whatever, or like a civilian rank character and buy whatever they wanted for the character. But if they didn't, then they would have a group they could play with without having to worry about gear. And all of that money that they don't spend on stuff, they could use to buy like extra character slots or game expansions and stuff off the gem store. But yeah, it used to be pretty interesting in the past. It took me last time, I don't remember when I came back to the game. It took me like probably like 5 or 6 months to flush out the details the first time. And I had someone that I met in the game kind of help me flush out some things, and he was a role player. So last time what happened was that a lot of the early guild members ended up being role players, and they ended up playing the because like people in Guild Wars, they don't really like taking the charge of anything. It's very hard to get people to like take a position to kind of help run things. And but the role players, they would go up to the Senate and they'd like sit there and have Senate meetings and stuff like in these little buildings. And they would play like the military generals and stuff a whole lot. So like half of the guild was like normal players and the other half was just like these role players. And it was kind of interesting because the way we had the system put together in the guild hall was that this was the other thing that was kind of cool about it is so you see like there's like citizen and legionary. So there's a building that was in the guild hall that was specifically for military stuff. So the centurions and the legionaries and all that, they would have their own building inside the guild hall that they could decorate. And then the Praetorian Guard had a separate building they could decorate. The Emperor had a palace that he could decorate. The senators in the Praetorium had like big houses on the top of a hill that was really hard to get to. But the nobles and things, they would get their own houses from the buildings that were inside the guild hall. And so like it was an incentive for player housing. I was trying to fix the issue players had with player housing in game. And since we had since we had so many events inside of the guild hall, people were able to showcase their house, and I didn't have to worry about decorating the guild hall and like building all the items because people were willing to actually decorate their own homes. But yeah, I would say it's pretty good. How you liking Guild Wars? You a player, or you just like checking it out? Yeah. I am an idea guy, man. I'm a person that I try to come up with ideas that I think are good for the health of the game and not really... I'm a person that, like, will help the game as best I can and try and not, I guess, like, I don't know what the necessary word would be, like, pander to people. Yeah, it's a good game.
I wonder if the centaurs would be less hostile if we shared our beer with them.
I think they want our land and crops, not our beer.
Just a thought. More for me then.
Can you use... Give me a second here. Can you use these together? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I think the game is really good. I've been slowly working on a concept to try and flush out my own game universe at some point, but like I think Guild Wars 2 still has a lot of potential that I think we're on the verge of having a really big a really big thing bust through for Guild Wars 2. But I see potential for like a lot of stuff, like, and I've come up with solutions that they could use that are already implemented in the game to like add a whole bunch of new content and for players. But my main Reddit account that I've used on all the different games I've played got banned on Reddit in the Guild Wars 2 thing. I didn't say any hate on the game, it's just that the player base has a lot of negative feedback. Because when you give players like things that they really like in game, they don't really like inconveniences. So it's kind of hard to satisfy everybody. But other than that, like the game, I think is really good. I was a fan of Guild Wars 1. I've come back to Guild Wars 2 like over and over. For me, it's not really so much the content that the game developers put in. It's more like I really like the basic armors and stuff that are in the game. I'm not really the biggest fan of the flashy armors. So all the basic armors they had in the game, like on launch, they look really good, and I had sets for them. And I like the. It's kind of hard to do, but there's a lot of flexibility with the guild system to where if you can actually gather players, like it'll take you a lot of effort. But if you actually get players together and get it rolling, like you can have a ton of fun doing completely unique things in this game that you'll never do in other games. And that was something that was really common in Guild Wars 1 as well. But the system here, it's harder to get people to do things because it's so open world. You've been playing since launch? Yeah, I got to get the turtle at some point. I don't really go out of my way to get any of the other mounts like the dragon and the griffin and stuff, but when the turtle originally came out, my main thing I was interested in was leveling people. So like in the past, when we did our like level 1 and level 80 groups together, you'll notice like world events and stuff, they have like cannons and things that people can use. So we'd stick like the level 1 players on the artillery pieces and then set up perimeters around them and defend the artillery for them. And they would get credit for killing the beasts, and it would make it a whole lot more interesting and difficult because like the lower level players would have to fend off these massive waves, and we would be having to fend off like them getting beat. And then when the siege turtle came out, all I could really think about was two-seater mount, mobile artillery. So like, I don't know if you've tried it or not, but like if you stick a level 1 player in the siege turtle, does the damage like it scale like based on your player's level?
After him.
So if you have a level 1 player in your turtle, you could ride around and then have them get experience.
Don't hurt the head.
Because that's my main, like, I was a Luxon fan in Guild Wars 1, so like I have a soft spot for the turtle in general, but
Here's some death howl from a
that's the
fierce
only main interest I would have in unlocking the turtle is to help people in events.
Big. Now it's dead.
Show some respect. Now collect the head. Lord Beetlestone must have his newest trophy.
Yeah. That's part of the problem that I have with the game, though, because like that's what I'm saying is like most players they have like a niche that they really like in the game, like oh I like dungeons or I like strike missions or World v World or I like mounts. My interest is like the overall health of the game. Like I'm perfectly fine with things being a little bit inconvenient for some players if it helps the overall total health of the game. And like level 80 players, like you even saw earlier when I was doing that Centaur mission over there, there was a level 80 player sitting in the middle of that event. And they were killing every Centaur like instantaneously as they came in. So person on the back doesn't get hit. And yeah. So if they get experience for it and they don't get hit, then that's perfect. But I don't know how many players, because I just came back to the game not too long ago. Because I bought EOD when it came out, but I took a break from playing and then I came back. Yeah, I don't think picking it up is necessarily the issue though. The main issue is like when I had level 1 players. So the last time I had this guild running, the main thing that we did was the Silver Waste farm. And the artillery pieces, like they would use them, but the tentacles and vines would go up on the walls and one-shot them because the new players couldn't dodge. You tell them to like watch out for tentacles, and they just get smacked and instantly get one shot. You can TP them to the waypoints. So if they're in the turtle, you can just teleport to all the waypoints and give them to the players. That's interesting. Be kind of hard for the free zone in Queensdale, like when they're level 10, but I like the possibilities there. It's like all the free players, you could basically just gather your team up in Queensdale, load people up on turtles, and then teleport around. And then as long as they are able to leave the zone and they're past level 10, you could just give them all of the waypoints for the core game and stuff, which would be kind of nice. But if they don't get hit on the turtle, I think that's perfect. Because that means they should be able to do every single farm area without any issue.
Can I help you?
CC knocks them off.
Finally found someone to help me.
Shouldn't be that big of a problem though. Like,
Still sore about that? We have our orders, ma'am.
I'm assuming it would take a couple of hits before it actually got crowd controlled. What was that?
The minister won't let me rebuild my vineyard. Let's see how he likes wine from wine to grapes.
I don't know. It sounds pretty good to me though. I mean, because like it would fix a lot of the silver waste issue for sure. And then the world bosses and things, it would kind of help out quite a lot. See, but I don't know how many players actually think about using things like that. In Guild Wars 2. It's like I haven't ever heard anyone talk about using it like that since it came out, so I wasn't sure if it could actually give experience or not. There's a lot of things like I think one of the last posts I put on Reddit before my account got banned on there was there was players. Basically, I read people's posts that are getting like views, and they'll like put an idea on there, and they'll like talk back and forth on like why something wouldn't work, and then I'll go and try and make a solution, and I'll post a post about it, trying to like be a middle ground solution to it, and generally they get a lot of hate. So the last one, they were talking about boat races in Cantha, and they wanted the game developers to add them to the game, which I can understand to some degree, but also like coming from Guild Wars 1, like I know that you can make events in the community, but it takes work. And so like before like mounts ever were like hugely crazy, yeah, like I get like there's mount races, but like I've never did a physical event mount race on any of the maps. So like I had my mounts and I never knew that the mount races existed. And so in the past, like I would come to maps like Queensdale, and I would come over here and like the Troll Cave, where the sign is, I would post in the map chat like Raptor race or whatever, like this is the prize, come here, and I would have my tag and stuff open, and we would get like 5 to 10 contestants, and the goal was basically to race across. You would go through this fort, you'd race through, go through this fort, and then right here where the road splits, like players would try and split up and go different directions, and the goal was to get to the dungeon door. So they would run from there all the way across, and they would get to this dungeon door, whoever got there first won. And it got really popular at one point, but I've never seen anyone go back and do that. But the Raptor races, like, it took probably 2 months of constant advertisements and stuff, and like throwing out gold and trying to figure out how to get people to do things, and it actually took off at one point, and people really liked it. And when I left the game and came back, like it didn't exist anymore. No one ever talks about it. But you can do the same thing with boats. As long as there's water, I mean, the boats, I don't know what skills they have access to, but as long as there's water, I would assume you could do a boat race. But we used to also do quest lines, so like, I used to spend a lot of time in this trading post in Queensdale, and there's like this beehive down here where the bears attack the beehive. If you do the event, you get access to buy honey, and like I would be sitting around with my mentor tag on, and people would talk to me, and I'd be like, kind of because I got used to being around role players when they were in the guild, so I would sit around, and when people came up, I'd be like, oh man, we need some of these supplies and stuff, like if you can help me find this gunpowder, or like I heard there's some guy selling some honey somewhere, I'll give you a reward. And then like people would be like, they wouldn't know where to go. Like it's a very basic event, but like they wouldn't know where to go, and they'd get really confused and be like, well, rumors has it they live like upstream or something. And then like the people would be like, oh, what direction? They'll like go the wrong way or whatever on the water, and they'll like come back later, and like it would take them like an hour or something, and they would finally figure out like, oh, beehives, honey, bears. And yeah. And I'll give them like 10 gold or something. There's like new players coming to the game, but I spent, because like I never have any much like want to do any in-game content in the game, and so when I played, I just did PvP duels for a long time, and then when I got the guild started, I just did the PvP fights in the duel arena in there. And other than that, I was just farming gold and then finding ways to give it out in the open world. And in Guild Wars 1, it would probably have been really common for people to like come up with these ideas, but in this, like, it doesn't seem common in this game at all. I almost feel like one of y'all guys are in this turtle, but I'm a little sad I can't mount it when I have my tonic on, though. Nice little fluffy turtle skin. I kind of like it. But it's kind of like, so like leveling my characters in the past, I always just did the storyline. And like when the game first came out, I just kept remaking characters, and I burnt myself out on the storyline. Oh, you were over there? If you give the turtle, like, does it get access to combat buffs? Yeah, I'm wondering if you, like, because, like, my Guardian can give people burning, like, every so many attacks or whatever. So, like, if you can give it Might and Fury and, like, condition damage on hit, that'd be kind of interesting. I mean, it's already applying burning already, so, I mean... It's probably the most useful mount in my eyes, though. Because, like, I'm not a big fan of, like, the flying mounts and stuff in the game. I don't really bother getting them. And I've found, personally, that I've started to enjoy the game more by not worrying about, like, getting to level 80 and stuff. Like, before, I would do the storyline over and over and over again. And now I have, a challenge. I call it the walking challenge. So, I still haven't did a full playthrough with it yet, but every time I hit level 80... I suddenly lose the urge to, like, do any form of map completion. Which I think kind of sucks because there's, like, I was piecing together a theory about Lissa and the gods and things, another one of my posts that got hated out on Reddit, but, I found dialogue and lore and things that are around the world that would, like, support the theory. And, walking around... I found so much, like, NPC dialogue and stuff that you would never hear, which I thought was really cool. But what I found is the walking challenge makes the game, like, so much harder, but also, like, you enjoy the map a lot more. Just, like, walking at a slow pace compared to just, like, speed running on mounts. And people on mounts, you don't tend to, like, they don't really associate very much with any other players, so, like, it's kind of hard to talk to them or engage. But you can actually, like, soak in the map a lot more when you're walking. And then when you're fighting and stuff, it makes it so much harder in general. And then, and when you're doing a walking pace, the random events and things that, like, take time for the NPCs to talk to each other and stuff, you have time to actually hear them. Oh, you're the are you that person? Oh, Scruffy, yeah. It's that Savari Necro. That's pretty good. Do you have a tonic on, or is this turtle just that big? You look like you're small. I think you got a mini tonic on. Chicken chaser. Wow, that's kind of busted. I guess I can go get that skill that was over there, but I kind of like this. Oh yeah, but the walking challenge, I was doing it on a Revenant, and then I remade my Revenant, but the basically what the walking challenge is, and I'm probably going to combine this with the only using gear that you find in game instead of buying it next time I play through. But say like you were in Queensdale, you basically walk anywhere on the map. You would walk, and during combat you walk in events, and you can only start riding the mounts and running and stuff after you finish the map. So it gives an incentive to do a map completion, which kind of actually got me to engage with the map more. But my problem is every time that I get level 80, I slowly lose the urge to do it anymore because I don't have any incentive to do quests or anything in the open world afterwards. Because I don't care about the legendary, like, weapons and stuff. Hey, if the turtle driver's in here, can we go to the Silver Waste? Yeah, I think most people do, they just use them for the economy. Like, they use them as, like, a store of gold. I was trying to get that system built up in my guild at one point, but I needed crafters, and I found a dude that said he wanted to do it. But then he ended up, you know, giving up and not ever getting it working. But basically, like in most games, like the trading post, you can undercut. That was weird. You can undercut the trading post. So as long as you, because everything's bought on the trading market these days. But like if you sell and buy things like you did in Guild Wars 1, you can buy it for less than what they would sell it for because they save the cost of the trading post, and you can save money by buying it cheaper than they would sell it on the trading post. So then if you get access to people that are really into crafting and know how to like make money with crafting materials and things, you can buy and sell the materials in your guild for a little bit of an up price, and it can give your guild more money to use for things, you know. So you do your own tax, but it'd be less than the trading post. So you get like 2 or 3 copper or whatever per trade, or you could pay people to upgrade the materials for you and like sell the materials off to make more money for the guild. But I think these big bank type things, they you only have one character? But there's these big guilds that have like a banking system, and they use the legendary crafting or whatever to like store money because they can hold more than they could with gold. You know, like just doing what you're doing right now was so difficult in the past. Because you would find new players in Queensdale and they'd have free accounts. So you have to get them to level 10 or whatever before they could leave. And then you'd have to haul them across here, and like I don't know why, they get like distracted and they start like running off in different directions, and you like tell them like what to look out for, and it's weird. You know, you can get in that cage right there on your mounts. You can actually like glitch into that cage and get in and out. I learned that not too long ago. I don't think not having a map completion though is like a big deal. Like I've played the game forever, and like I never really worried about doing a map completion. I might have did it once, but I don't recall doing it. I'm pretty sure I deleted that character at some point.
You there, hold.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to do a map completion, doing it as you're leveling up to level 80 is the best way to go. Like just in my head, it makes the most sense, and it's the only time I'm going to really care about doing it. But I keep like using XP boosters and stuff. Like I have so many XP boosters that I just can't make myself do it hardly anymore. Huh. I need to have more turtle knowledge. That's weird. Yeah, so basically here, what we did was you would have to take the low-level person and kind of have them stay inside this area, and then you would escort the pack mule to the first fortress. And it takes like, I think it was like immune. It takes like 2 or 3, and you get the siege artillery on the top. And then basically, low-level players can use the siege artillery to get the XP on the events. And then when they bust down the wall, you can just... Interesting. I think they have some sort of cap on it. But when they bust down the wall, you can collect the rubble to rebuild the wall, too. I don't know if they've nerfed this over the time, but it doesn't seem like the turtle's going to work. Which kind of sucks. I'm getting a little bit of damage, but it's not like enough. Probably. But like, I got so bored before, like when I first came up with this idea, it was because I did the storyline and stuff so much I didn't feel like doing anything. And I built a Char Engineer. And I leveled up solo from 1 to 80 inside the Silver Wastes, just running around. I was throwing like the little tonic that you have on people and giving them like regen and protection and stuff. I don't think it's working though. We might need to just try and get artillery on the wall and see if it still works. Unless there's like some sort of support weapon you can get on the turtle. Only 8 damage, but it should be burning them, so. Yeah. Here, we go back to the first fort, and let's see if there's any artillery on there, and I'll see if I can get XP with it still or not. I don't know if they've changed it. I forget what it's called. Well, the thing with like unless the turtle has some ability that adds damage to it, it looks like they've kind of capped it off. Where like here you can use like the signal torches and these artillery pieces. But what happens is these little tentacles, they pop up and they'll one-shot me. So you have to keep the monsters from using the tentacles on me. And as long as this still works, yeah, it still works. I can get credit in the events using the artillery. And there's a number of events like this in world bosses. I think like the Undead Lieutenant boss or whatever is another one. But the idea when I first did this was that it lets low-level, like level 1 players start helping out with farms and level 80 zones. And then they kind of learn the Silver Waste and stuff instantaneously and get access to like bandit crests and like loot bags and stuff like that. And the problem was every time I brought people here, they were like, the experience isn't that good. But like every time the event ends, you get like a quarter deal of an experience. You get gold tier loot and like exotic items and stuff. and the additional magic find, like once the world boss thing is completed. And the other thing is, like, once you get a group that's big enough, you can do an actual farm rotation, hitting all 3 of the towers, and you basically set up like a little transportation line in between each of the... Oh god, that golem scared me. You can set up like a kind of a transport line with mesmer portals or whatever, and take the low-level players around the farm with you to each tower, or each event. But like this right here, all you gotta worry about, there's like a couple of like small things that could pop up and kill people. But it's just simple stuff like this. Like, see, I already got like a decent bit. But everyone told me the XP was bad doing this, and it never seemed bad for me at all. Like, it's not the best in the world, but you're going like 2 feet. And you're getting a decent amount. Like, you're probably getting... Huh, it's not letting me... I don't know, I contributed 3. I don't know if this is a glitch or if it's like blocking it. But the big one here is that once you get done with the wall repair... Oh, boulder, got you, okay, yeah. But you see, like, that event right there? It's like 19 out of 25. When this event ends, you have to get the new players inside of the fortress before the thing spawns. So, like, the thing's almost over. They need to get inside and up on the walls and stuff before the monsters spawn, because they'll get one shot out there, and it's, you know, really difficult. And that's another problem that I had, like, explaining this to people. But theoretically, if you have 3 forts, each of those forts will have sieges like this. Each of those forts have wall repairs. You could rotate the players around to each fort, and you'd be able to do it. I don't know how we failed that. But I always liked this because, I mean, it has sort of a military-esque type feel, which was good for the Rome Guild. It teaches you about, like, artillery and stuff that you could use, like, in World v. World. So I always really liked the idea. We got a whole lot of baddies coming over here. They're probably about to kill us. You see, like, I'm getting a good amount of XP just killing them. It's not too bad. Getting some good quality materials. I got a couple bags of gear. Which, I mean, it's not the best weapons in the world. That's a pretty good sword. Let me look at that. So, we got a sword that's our level and green, which is better. And we got another great sword. I'm gonna do hammer though. Oh crap. We're in a bad spot, fellas. See, but I like the oh crap. I like the little bit of challenge that this kind of does. It looks like the fort's getting overran. I was gonna hit the signal fire. But see, like, you're starting to see the challenge, the additional challenge that you could have to the game here, like trying to play with low-level players in these higher-level zones. And basically, the idea is that level 80 players, they want gold and stuff. They don't necessarily want to help lower-level players. And as a lower-level player playing with a level 80 and low-level zones, it's really kind of boring because, like, they just go around and one-shot everything. Where's the signal fire? I forget. I think it's on the wall. See, but like this vine up here, it's a problem because I'm not strong enough to do anything about it, and it's destroying all the artillery. But like this is where like the stuff comes into play, like having to be able to keep the arrow carts and like the wall defended for the lower tier players. It puts a lot more like challenge on the high levels, and it makes the lower players feel like they're still doing something. And then now, if, oh, right there, ooh. But see, like, my weapons will do no damage, so, like, right now with this Guardian, I really just need to use, like, things that heal you, things that buff you, give you protection and things. Even if it doesn't help you that much, I would get, additional XP up to a percentage of, like, how many buffs and stuff I put on you. Which is why I could level up with my Char in the past and get, like, boss credit. But the main thing with defending people on this wall is just like this right here when they run up the stairs. And then if these little guys cast their tentacle spell on the outside of the wall, they'll summon like little untargetable tentacles outside. See, but you see, like, I've gotten probably a couple bars of XP so far, and like most people like that I've taken in here, they act like they don't get no XP at all. Because I'd always ask them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, the XP's kind of bad." But like, it never seems bad to me. Like and if we had a big enough group, I could be getting XP for all 3 of the forts. Because all you have to do is time it. I would have to kill like a couple of waves per fort, and then I could run and go to the other fort, do that wave, and I could get gold and experience and loot everything from all of them. But these are things that like players haven't really ever did. But if we do the thing where people in the guild only use armor that they find in game, then their power levels are going to be a lot lower, and it also means that they're not going to kill monsters as quickly. So new players on the siege equipment would have more of a role, I would say, in the fight. That'd be more important. And it also changes the builds that players would use in the game. So like my warrior build, for instance, I built it a while back, but it has like 20-something seconds of damage immunity and fear, and it has like healing effects. So if you get a group of warriors, you can actually heal each other for a whole lot. You get damage and condition immunity, as well as like a lot of crowd control and fear and stuff like that. But the good part of it is that you can use it with any weapon, and you can get access to you can use it with any weapon, and you can use it with any armor. So it's not class specific or anything. And then that makes a whole different set of builds for meta events that you would make for your characters. Because like if we were going to go do like the End of Dragons or the Heart of Thorns meta event, we would need a lot more I want to find another torch. It's like, look at that. It's like a quarter XP bar right there with no XP buff. All the torches are gone. But see, like, this fort is kind of in a rough state, and there's only one arrow cart that's about destroyed left, so we'd need to get another supply line here to repair all of the arrow carts before they get destroyed. But you can see how this kind of ties in, like, PvE to World v World, because it teaches you about supply lines and arrow carts and stuff. And that's basically what we used it for. And like, these guys are running up here, so that arrow cart's done, and I'm probably gonna die. We're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot, boys. I don't know what that venom is, but it's killing me. Hey, there we go. Yeah, so the artillery and stuff got destroyed on the wall. But yeah, this was the first thing that I ever made. I mean, I'm not super sure. I was gonna do the map completions, but now you got me more and more like wondering if I could do the Silver Waste events again. I don't have a group to do it with anymore though, so I could probably do it solo still, but I'd rather not. Yeah, these pack mules. We got to get the pack mules over there so that we can fix the artillery. Doing the thing that all the people I played with before did. Trying to damage it when I can't. But yeah. I plan on hopping off here in a second though, because it's about 7. I was just getting on for a little bit. I have one more day of work, and I have to get up at 3 to go to work. I work nights, so give me 8 hours. But you can see like how quickly the forts and stuff can kind of fall apart. Wow. There you go, get on the arrow cart. Use the torch to call in the airstrike and then get on the arrow cart. But also reviving allies gives you credit for events too. So if you have a bunch of new players,
running out of endurance.
Here we go. Oh my god. Yeah, the arrow cart's barely hanging in there. Where's the airstrike at? There we go. Damn. Need more bodyguards. Oh, we go ahead and use that. See, but this is what I think that they should do with the events in general, and I think they were trying to do it. I think that's why they have artillery as some world bosses. But it's kind of hard to implement. Like, it's possible. But like this right here, you have to kill the monsters before they go out there and get the rubble. But like all the repair stuff like this, so basically you wouldn't really need to do anything. After this event starts, you would kill the monsters that are out here kind of blockading the rubble. And then for the most part, you can go on to the next fort and do whatever you wanted to there while we're fixing the wall. And then you just have to come back before the next event started. And if you get it right, then you could just have a bunch of wall repair events and just transport the players to the walls and repair them over and over. But when it comes to like the final boss battles, you want to just like have support. You need like support skills. It's like Shout Hills, Fury Might, Protection, all of that.
Refreshing.
See, as soon as the walls go up, the things will just spawn. But yeah, I already, so, like, I don't know how long we've been here, but I've already gotten almost 2 levels, I guess. So this is the final boss. I don't have a staff. Crap. I don't think I have any way to give you any buffs. I got a trident.
Barrier up.
One more thing on my list of accomplishments.
Got a scepter.
Refreshing.
Oh my god, game. Let's do this. Scepter. That gives us... That isn't very helpful, honestly. I don't have a shield either. Well, I guess we'll do what we gotta do. There ain't really a whole lot I can offer here. Keep me alive, sir. See if I have any. I can't fight here, and I don't have any boons I can give you, so I probably won't get credit. Well, actually, I got my passive things. I probably won't get credit though. Yep, can you kill that? Solo? Oh crap. I kind of messed up there for a second. I'll try to come over there and give you some boons off and on. But this is the hard part of the thing. So like if I have a staff, I can give you healing and I can give you like protection with the shield, and it'll give me like 10% credit or something. But as it stands, I just don't have I don't have any damage. See? Got gold experience. Was it a whole lot? Not major, no. But I get loot. And Bennett Crest. Which means that I can get access to keys, which means I can take part in the chest farms. This little bandit chest. Oh, I'm about to die. Huh. See, but you don't know the challenge. Like with me, it's not as bad as it would be. But if you ever take a random person into this that hasn't ever did it before, it is a nightmare. Like you'll look over and you'll see them like trying to like fight the main boss with their weapon, and it doesn't do any damage, and they get demoralized, so they don't want to do it anymore. But I think it's a rather interesting way to level. Like, I much prefer leveling in these, like, more serious combat situations than, like, hard events, usually. But, whenever this main boss thing starts, you'll notice that there are, like, repair chests or whatever next to the golems or whatever that spawn over here. You have to get those and repair arrow carts or some sort of siege before the monsters start coming, and then you have to peel them off of the person that's using the siege equipment, just like before, except for it's harder. It's way harder. Because they come from all angles, so like both the defenders and me myself on the artillery have to like 360 look for monsters constantly, or I just get one shot and it's a bad deal. But I've always liked this. Like, you can see like just how much loot I've gotten so far. All of this is like my level or higher. It's all green and blues. Don't have any like gray items. And some of these things actually sell for more than you would think when you like go to the trading post sometimes. As there's certain levels where people like buy gear off the trading post for their character. So like you'll have these crappy like green items that sell for like 15 gold or something, or 15 silver. Got some gold nuggets. But yeah, if you ever want to help me, like once I get the guild started up again, if I ever try to do this again, like it helps if we have people that are willing to. Oh shoot! I wasn't paying attention. I think I'd die here. Maybe not. Alright, we need to repair the artillery. There's a repair box over here, so the repair hammers. And then your low-level players, they have to use the artillery, and then they have to do, there's always like a thing that you have to do to get like cannonballs or something. See arrow carts. But this right here is the stuff that max level players never do this in the game. They never like use the artillery and stuff because why would they? There's no point. But if you build it and you start playing like, you know, an actual kind of team process, this is kind of important. So we got one arrow cart up. I'm just going to go ahead and build the other arrow cart. So like when you do these meta events and stuff, as long as you have access to things like this, it means that low-level players can actually be a benefit to... Oh, no. Potentially, if you don't get yourself killed. It's too close. I need the other arrow cart. I need the other arrow cart. Hey, other arrow cart person. Hey. Arrow cart person. I need this arrow cart. I should have just got on it instead of building the second one. The monsters get too close and I can't shoot right here, so I can't kill them if they get to the edge. So I gotta pay attention. There is another artillery zone closer up I could try and build. Crap. I think I dropped my hammer. Yeah, I dropped the hammer. I can't grab another one. If you can get a hammer and build the artillery that's like closer to the door, I can shoot that there. But after you like die, you can't open up the box with a hammer for some reason. Yeah, these ones up here that are closer to the passage. She got off the arrow cart. We're in a bad spot.
Armored up.
This is how Romans are forged, my friends. The heart of battle. I believe in you, sir. Sir, best craftsman in the game.
Go get them!
Hey. Oh, it's a mortar. Crap. Alright, it's alright. Okay. Shouldn't be too bad. Try and use this arrow cart to clear out. Oh, boss fight. Oh, crap. Yeah, I probably won't be much of any help here, so if I do get credit, that would be nice. Oh, it's almost already dead. Yeah, I only got bronze for that, but that's fine. See, I got bronze, but it gave me like a whole, like 60% of an XP bar. Oh, there's a staff that I needed. Let's go ahead and grab that real quick. Ah, hero point, yeah, that is true. I could go do the nightmare case. That's also the interesting thing with the silver waste as well, is that nightmare maze, no matter what level you are, it one-shots you. See, I got a Carprus coat box.
Eternal vigilance.
That looks valuable. Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
So I can get a rare level 80 armor piece right now. See, so, I mean, just sitting in here and farming, it means like by the time I get to level 80, I would have access to a rare selectable stat gear, which is, you know, like that's pretty good if you're not going to buy anything off the market. Obsidian and amberite. I don't know if it's worth it to just sell these. This is like, these are selling for like 2 silver a piece. And if I break it apart,
This is most remarkable.
I'm getting like 50 silver or 50 copper. So I actually, like, I don't think it's worth it to need to see how much the merchant is selling stuff for. But I would say this is the downside to like doing stuff here is just once the event's over, it takes a little bit before it jump starts again. But if you're talking about a brand new level 1 character and they have a guild that's in here, they can instantly start farming this even if it isn't the best gold. And they could at least, they would know how to do the silver waste to get gold, which is like the most basic gold farm there is. And getting access to the additional magic find is just like cake on top of it. So, I mean, can't really go wrong, you know? And then this nightmare area is just... I think there's only one chest that requires keys, and all the rest of them is kind of just general stuff, basic. Oh, that's not good. So we get one nightmare pod, which gives us a whole bunch of this stuff. So all these selling for about a silver. I mean, that's good. We get access to all these lesser nightmare pods, which can give you more key fragments. And I don't like, my thing is, I don't know if this is necessarily the best way to get gold as a low level, but it feels like it's pretty decent, you know? Guaranteed to get like some of the better raiding gear. And I still think the bunny is the best mount in here, to be honest. But it also, like, teaches people a bit, like, you know, you gotta keep your eyes on a swivel when you're in here. Kind of get some used to looking out for things. There's, like, the heart quests are just a lot easier in comparison, which is why a lot of players you bring in here have issues. See how many of those that you have to have. 25 essence with bandit skeleton key to create a key of greater nightmares. Get 50% magic find. Get unbound chests. We got a piece of rare gear that we can use right now too. Oh crap. Oh crap. So you got the nightmare pods. I can say I'm not an expert with this maze. I have no idea where any of this stuff is. I'm just kind of... Another seed pouch. Yeah, I think that's good for me right now. But my concept has always been here is like this was the first event. This is the area, the whole reason I started my guild in the first place in the past was because I figured out that I could level from 1 to 80 in this zone while farming stuff fairly easily. But it's so hard to get people to do it. And everyone will say you don't get a lot of XP or anything here. And I don't know exactly. It just feels like that's not true. It feels very much like, I mean, I didn't even do the chest farm. Like, I could just follow those guys around right now and get so many more chests. But we already see, like, the stuff that I already got. I have a level 80 rare selectable stat item that I'm going to be able to use on my character by the time I get out of here. If I continued to do this, I'd probably keep getting these. I would have a full set of rare gear. 100% whatever stat I wanted by the time I'm 80. And you might be like, well, that's not exotic. Well, yeah, but it's a decent gear that will get you through quite a bit of the game, and you didn't have to buy it. And it's selectable stats, whereas like you could say like, hey, you could get like the named berserker gear or whatever off the trading post, and you can, but it's, you know, it's fairly cheap. Like I could sell one of these items here that are selling, like all these, they're selling for two silver. I could sell one of those and, you know, probably get some of that named gear at some point. But if you're going to earn it in game, you'd have to go to ore to get access to it. I'm pretty sure. You have to go to ore and you'd have to do the temples and buy it from the traders there, or find it in game. Like this rare piece of unidentified gear, I'm really curious about, because like these are 11 silver selling, and if I open it, I'm getting level 80 rare gear, which I can turn into Ecto right now. Major Ruin of Doliac. Toughness, Vitality, Condition Damage.
We have completed the task at hand.
Damn. But all I'm saying is, like, when the game first came out, I remember when I was playing this game, like 1 gold, like for the cultural armor, it was like 1 gold for like a piece of like the tier 2 armor, and it was like it took forever to get 1 gold. Like it felt like it took ages. And then like if I would have known about this, I could have just came here. I would have got 1 gold so quick, and then would have been perfectly fine. Survive.
Low on endurance.
Alright, so I didn't grab any of the extra materials or the piles of sand or anything. I'm just gonna go to the main area up front. Just see kind of how much gold I can make off of what I got for the most part. Look at that. Gold success. Did that. Got a steel chest. Yeah, so I mean, you can get, I mean, this right here even, we should be able to get XP for it. Let's come over here, pop a little thing, just kind of stand over here and look pretty for a little bit. Do some stuff. I don't really care about any more obsidian shards, but his little tentacle vines got me. This is a nice person. She feels my pain. And these people don't seem to have like the top tier gear either, because like they're killing it, but not like super quick, you know? Gold rewards. Alright, I'm just gonna go back over here and then get to safety real quick. See if
must fight so that all can be free.
It's like most of these, I mean, they're selling for like 40. So it's probably not worth it just to sell it to the, you know, the place, but. Some of these things that you could sell for a silver, like this is like 30 something.
Target destroyed.
It's like those is probably worth it just to sell to the trader.
Heart of the Maguma jungle. That gives me the chills.
All right, troops. Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
So we also got this fee, so it's like 60. Two silver.
Is it true that the head of this outfit is a silver?
It's pretty solid light armor. If anyone buys these, I have no idea. Like, this thing's going for 5 silver, just doesn't seem realistic. 5, 6 silver.
All right, troops. Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
Alright, so let's look at all the extra stuff that we've gotten while we're in here. So we got all that. Got some good old materials. Got ourselves a new helmet.
Hope the queen held enough of us back to defend DR if it comes to that.
All right, troops. Let's make our queen proud.
One's knowledge
Get to it.
cannot go beyond one's experience.
They say we're headed into the heart of the Maguma jungle. That gives me the chills.
Wolf cries out. I must answer.
Is it true that the head of
This
this
is
outfit
the only proper course.
I wonder how many levels you get just for the waypoints in Queensdale. Because if you can go from level 1 to level 10 with the waypoints in Queens, you can just turtle carry them to all the points and then take them to the silver wastes. But yeah, mate, I thank you for hanging out with me. I'm probably going to hop off after I get done selling all this stuff because it's 7:40.
Excelsior.
If you happen to know anything about like game design or something though, like I'm slowly planning on, like, I don't necessarily want to make my own game because I think I could make things work pretty well in Guild Wars, but I just had like a really good game idea in my head like a few weeks ago, and I've been kind of piecing together how the systems would work and the lore and everything over the last few weeks, and I've kind of liked it. But when it comes to programming a game or like making things, I don't really know. I'm gonna have to learn it from the ground up, and it probably isn't gonna be the best. Everything else though, I'm flushing it out pretty good, I think. It's the game concept that I haven't seen anyone do, and I think would be pretty decent. This also means that you could technically do, so like you do Queensdale, go and kill all of the bosses that are there so you get those extra bags, and then you could go straight here. Because that's what we did, is we got all these 5-slot bags. I'll just go ahead and open that one. Look at that. Super powerful char. Baited in by my noobness. Imagine being that guy and you're falling around like a... the need for loot here is so good.
Power flow at 30%. Rerouting.
So these, I think they're used for legendary crafting, but I have too much of them. These, we get different materials. Doesn't look like it was super worth it. I don't really care about the encoded orders. Got me wondering if it's worth it to open these. I don't know how much they're selling naturally. It's like these are selling for 2 silver a piece. And when I open it, I'm getting a little bit less.
Begin destruction protocol.
So like these tiny supply bags are like centaur stuff. I could see how like if you were a lower level player and you like got introduced to this pretty early, you might be like, oh man, this is a lot of loot. We were in there for like an hour or something, I think. Like, I don't know if any of this stuff is gonna sell, but I mean, we've probably put up a... I don't even know. It has to be... I mean, 1 silver a piece. Has to be like at least a gold coin or something by now. It's like things like that. It's a masterwork, level 20. It's not only that though, because like, so you're gonna be able to get an Ascendant Jewel here, farming this power, precision, condition damage, which isn't terrible for like a lot of, I mean, a lot of early game stuff that you could get. I mean, power, precision, condi damage isn't the worst thing in the world, especially for an Ascendant Amulet. I mean, even my sword on my Guardian, like, it's going to help my fire damage, and I'm going to be able to crit and have power, so it'd be pretty good. We can buy additional keys. We can buy bags of gear. I don't remember if the bags of gear or the stolen goods were the thing that you wanted. You use like 10 of these, and you get a bag of stolen goods, and this sells for a silver. I don't remember. I almost think it was a bag of rare gear. 250 and 20 silver though. Level 39 rare medium shoulder armor. 40 silver. That's absurd.
Is it true that the head of this outfit is a safari?
So 15 and 80 copper for sandy bag of gear. Sells for 3 silver. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, Bandit Combat Specialist Collection. Unlocks Bandit Weapon Specialist Collection.
That's how it's done.
Huh. That's weird. Bandit Spear, Bandit Demolisher, Bandit Musket.
Alright, troops. Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
Yeah, I need a little Mordrum in his Dust Mite tonic.
Is it true that
Yeah,
the
I
head
mean,
of this outfit is a safari?
you could just buy armor here. So you can get yourself rare gear here pretty easy. See, but this is if you're trading it. Like, if you're going to trade stuff to get items, I mean, you could get rare gear here, then you could get exotic in dungeons, but you could just go straight to the dungeons. 100% explored Silver Waste and got 2 level 86 exotic Zerger armor. What? You get it for a reward? Is that like, is it just like a guaranteed reward, or is it like randomized? Kind of interesting. Huh, so you get... That's weird. But it's like... It seems like some of the stuff in the game, though, is like this right here, you're spending 1 gold and like 1,000 of these to get a rare gear. But you can choose the armor stats. But if you do a map completion, you could get exotic armor pieces. If you do a dungeon, you can get exotic armor pieces. So like it kind of negates this as like a thing, you know? Unless you needed the rare gear to complete the dungeon, which you might have in the past, but I doubt it now. But also just farming the area, we've been able to find an exotic piece of gear, and we also got this box for rare. I don't know. It's a toss-up because like thinking on it, the more like when I first started playing the game, like ever since I came back and I had access to gold, and I kind of knew how to get some gold for the most part, I always have just bought my armor off the trading post. And so like part of me like, cause I remember like trading for armor on my first warrior in ore, and I've never went back there and did it ever again because you can just buy the armor off the trading post for like 60 silver. But when you play the game and you don't buy anything at all off the trading post, some of this seems like it would be more important, like trading for these boxes here. But you still have dungeons that you could do to get exotics. You just wouldn't be able to select the stats, I guess. Because, like, dungeons have very specific stats that you have to play. So I guess, I don't know how much better exotic is compared to rare, but I'm guessing you would collect these if you wanted access to specific stats on your character. Because that might be better than exotics. Early, I guess. But like, let's say that you made it to where you couldn't even trade for dungeon armors, then this right here would be like doing this map and getting one armor box. You do this like 5-6 times. That would have a lot of value. But you could still buy exotics on at ore though. Like you could go there and you could still buy the exotics, but I think ore only has a couple of sets as well. Like you get access to Berserker and I want to say power, precision, condition damage or something as well. I think it may be some healing armor on ore. I don't remember. It's interesting though. Already found a better staff. Triggers a flame blast with a 240 radius upon critically hitting a foe. Kinda sucks because I don't have any crit chance. That's a pretty good staff though. All these are selling for like 50. These actually sell, though. I mean, that's a decent amount. What do you think? Like, we came in here, though. We did, you know, basically one rotation of the event. I think I gained, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 levels, potentially. And then depending on this sell, if all this sells, you know, maybe a gold or so. So even if like the XP isn't necessarily as fast as some people say, like map clears or whatever, I think the gold might make up for it. But I do still think I need to do map clears because if I hit level 80, I'm never going to make myself do them. And even right now, even I could get these and turn it into Ecto for extra gold, because I'm not close to getting all my stuff yet. But I would say selling.
I meant, what is your intent?
Right, Troops. To make our queen proud. Get to it.
Right. You can just put that back wherever it came from.
I mean, all that stuff that we put on there, we've probably sold a little bit, not much, probably like 4 or 5 silver. But we can always just sell it to this trader if we want next time. And all these bags, it's like a silver a piece. And it doesn't appear like opening them is worth it. Like it doesn't seem worth it at all. So if I go on here and I want to buy, let's see, it's 10. So let's do 50 bags. Well, it's also almost a copper for the bag. So you're only getting like 60 off of it. So if you sell the bag, you're getting like 50, 60 copper. If you open the bag, you're still only getting about the same. That kind of hurts my head a little bit. I mean, I guess it's still money, but probably just better just to buy more bandit keys. I could have swore that was what you're supposed to buy before. See, that makes more sense.
Hope the Queen held enough of us back to defend DR if it comes to that.
Hardened leather.
They say we're headed into the heart of the Mbuna jungle. That gives me the chills.
Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
So let's get 10.
That looks valuable.
So this would have been about 10 silver. So we're looking at about 80. I mean, that right there paid for it. I mean, maybe it is worth it. So we just have to open enough of them. Alright, so we're gonna do what, 40? And that would be 400 crests. And then be 40 silver. And we'll open all of them.
You can never have too much treasure.
So we've already gotten 20 silver back. 27. 35. 36. Like 53.
They say we're headed into the heart of the Mbuna jungle. That gives me the chills.
I mean, if you had people that were upgrading the materials, I mean, this would be probably worth it. I mean, you're already looking at about 60 silver or so. But all these, like, if you had people that upgraded them, you could probably get way more out of the materials.
Hope the Queen held enough of us back.
This might be affected by player level too. That's something I don't have anymore, is I used to have a bag opening character. Or actually, no, I still got my merchant.
Is it true that the head of this outfit
I mean, this seems fairly worth it. I mean, that's a good amount of materials you can use at your base. Good amount of silver off of it. If we were to get 100, that'd be 1 gold. And 1,000 crests.
Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
That looks valuable.
Hope the Queen held enough of us back to defend DR if it comes to that.
And you already got half the money back. Probably gonna say like a quarter. Probably about like 75% of our money back. I'd say we're probably on par, if not over, how much money we spent. So probably at this point it'd be extra. not 100% sure how many crests I got while I was here. Fat tord. Feel like they're trying to be funny. That sand's actually selling for pretty decent. Alright.
Is it true that the head of this outfit is a safari?
I mean, we've already gotten like at least like a gold and a half or whatever just selling stuff there, so it's probably alright. But now I'm like really split because I feel like now like if you can level a character here on your own, it's probably worthwhile to do it. But if not, I mean, map completions are still pretty solid on their own. You get Black Lion chests and stuff. I'm a pretty big fan of like storyline stuff because like I can do the storyline. I don't really necessarily like the first part of the story, but when it comes to the expansions, I'm alright with that. And they give you access to Black Lion chests, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I would say if I had a group, I'd probably continue doing this. But I mean, we got like five levels or so in an hour, and probably a couple gold off of that. Whereas like if I was doing a map completion, I would probably get more than 5 levels, but I doubt I would get 5 gold worth of stuff or anything. Plus, I get access to the gear. I have the rare gear, and I got access to some new weapons.
Right, troops. Let's make our queen proud. Get to it.
Gives me the chills.
All right. We still have this hard to do, so I'm gonna have to finish that at some point. All right, man. I'm gonna get off. So, I mean, I appreciate you coming and helping me and letting me ride in your turtle and helping me in the Silver Waste and stuff. If you want to team up some more, I'll probably be playing a little bit more this week. I'm starting to build a room on the back of my house right now, so I don't know if Monday or Tuesday I'll be on, but usually like Tuesday through Thursday I kind of play. And if you happen to want to help me rebuild this guild at some point, I plan on doing it after finishing the storylines again. I got, I think, Living Season 4 I'm about to finish on my new warrior, and then we got to do EOD, and my guild leader's going to pop on for that, or at least my old guild leader. I'm technically not in his guild anymore, but we're in Discord and stuff, and we've known each other forever, so shouldn't be too bad. All right. Thank you all guys for watching, man.